Hello, Royal Caribbean guests and friends around the world. Hope you're enjoying your vacation so far. We promised you an updated video and we will deliver, as it is a little bit later than I anticipated just due to the changes we've seen in the models throughout the day today. And as we advise on the upcoming days, I just wanted to have the latest information for you, as of course Dorian was upgraded to hurricane status. And the center, as we talked about, we were going to watch to see would this interact with the mountains of Hispaniola. Clearly, that's gone farther east with this eye forming around St. Thomas and San Juan. But it has sustained winds increasing. They're on the way up and will continue day to day. As you see here in our forecast, we have missed the mountains. So what we talked about in that previous video, that likely that's going to mean a bigger or stronger storm to deal with, that is the case. We're now talking about what could be a Category 3 hurricane as it makes its way towards Florida and crossing the northern Bahamas. So here's our latest track for you. What we are picking apart, and the reason the forecast is so complex as to where we would see this come in, it really has a lot to do with the two models that are the best in the globe. Of course, the American model and the European model. The difference between the two is money. The European model, that's a private company over there in the UK, and they historically have gotten a ton more money into research, funding, and their coding of that model. So the American model, that's our taxpayer monies going into NOAA, the Hurricane Center, and the Weather Service. Just 3 days ago, didn't even see the storm. So where I've been struggling with this is the European has been consistent in its forecast track. It has historically the better track record around the world with typhoons and hurricanes. So the American model is farther south than what it looked like the day before, coming in sometime Sunday evening. So we are talking about an arrival, wherever this is going to be, about 6 to 8 hours later than the last video where we saw you. And there will be adjustments. There'll be tweaks to the track, timing, and all that. But with the information we have, now I want to show you the European model has stayed south. And that's why we've closed down Coco Cay, made the adjustments and changing the itinerary. We've got about 400 employees we've had to evacuate off that island. That doesn't just happen in an hour. That, of course, with the flights, there is no airport at Coco Cay, so we've got to move them to another island and get them out of there. But because of that European model, that's what still got everybody a little bit anxious, and understandably so. Again, historically, it's the better model of the two. What we're hoping for is somewhere in between the middle, because this looks like it would try to come in Sunday evening also, and then overnight into Monday morning around Port St. Lucie, around West Palm Beach, and then go over towards Naples and Fort Myers and kick back out into the Gulf, actually, before swinging up around the Panhandle. So what are we waiting on? What's the holdup? What's the deal? Why do we not know for sure yet exactly where that's coming in, what its strength will be? This cold front is the ball game now. We're past seeing whether it's interacting with the mountains or not. The first front's already down here in a couple days. That's going to give us some rain, but the storm will still be too far south for that front to have an impact. The reason this second front is the ball game, because look at this, as it will come down and sit right about here on Sunday. That's what the models are picking out to turn it to the west. So the American favors a front that's more up here, allowing this to come in around Port Canaveral and Daytona Beach. The European brings that front all the way down around the Florida-Georgia line. That's the kick to the west earlier, meaning we could see the storm around West Palm Beach. So that's the holdup, and really figuring out how strong that high is and how far south the cold front will get by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. That's what I'm watching now. The focus has shifted from Hispaniola to basically what are our models saying each run, and where's that cold front? When does it get down here? In my next video, that's what we're going to be talking about. Where is it and what do we know? And hope to really nail down the timing of this. I do want to show you a couple things of interest. This is a look at the Hurricane Hunter flights. That's the track they drove. If there were, say, a line being driven everywhere they flew. And it looks like an odd path, right? Kind of all over the place. Here's your different strength and winds. Of course, you note more on the right side. That's where we typically see the stronger winds in these storms. But the pattern may look a little familiar to you, maybe a little bit like the number 4 tilted in different directions, like that. And there's a reason for it. That pattern is not random. It's a flight plan that is intentional. And the reason being is it allows the plane, as they're dropping instruments out, to hit every quadrant of the storm. So they fly what they call these figure fours or inverted figure fours sometimes, depending on their track. But it allows them in one pass to hit each of the 4 sections of the storm, because each one of those 4 quadrants gives us information about the storm's health, strength, and what it may do. So that's why you see that flight plan like that. So again, friends, my intention is to get you another video Friday, likely afternoon or evening, if we see drastic changes in the models through the overnight hours and as we go through the day here Thursday. We'll get you a video sooner. I'm here at Miami headquarters, literally advising our executives all day long. I switched to Asia side. We've got 2 typhoons over there I'm watching as well in the overnight hours, and then we'll bring it back here in the morning. So I will get you a video if we see drastic changes and need to advise you more urgently. Otherwise, my plan is to get you the next one on Friday. With that said, I am updating multiple times a day. You probably heard from your captains or cruise directors, but those are my social media handles. You can follow along. You can ask questions. For those who have already, I will get to those questions here over the next 24 hours. It's been more posting than answering, but I think we're getting to the point where I can start jumping in and answering those questions that you do ask. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but I will tell you that I'm most responsive on Twitter. It's easier, shorter characters, boom, I can get you an answer and move on. If I've answered you incorrectly, meaning you've asked a question and I've misunderstood it, let me know, re-ask it, and I'll get it to you. Don't forget to tag Royal Caribbean. They like talking to you. If you've got some interesting pictures, share them along, and of course, follow along as well. So until I see you for the next video, friends, that's where we're at with Hurricane Dorian and what we expect, at least with the data we have in our hands today. So we'll continue to keep you advised. We'll be talking to you on social media until I see you on the next video. Of course, we thank you for choosing Royal Caribbean. We'll do everything we can to give you the latest and best information so you're up to speed and advised and know exactly what we've got and expect with this storm over the weekend.